Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. So you've done it. You have come out of her, my people. You have gotten onto your little farmstead, your little slice of heaven where you can produce your own food long term for you and yours. You have your food storage, but you have your gardens going on, your critters, all that kind of thing. And the event happens. And you enter into a world without a rule of law. There's no popo coming to help you. There are bad people out there. There are many neutrals out there. And you're just trying to get by. What could that possibly look like? From what could we draw lessons now? What could we look at now to give us an idea of what that might be like then? South Africa. South Africa, Plasmoorde, they have a problem with white farmers, rural white farmers, who live out on farms, farmsteads, getting killed by the bushel. And typically the way it works, because they're isolated, right? It's like a ma and pa, maybe a couple kids living out there, and the next farm is half a mile away down the road. And typically in the middle of the night, a gang of people shows up, breaks in, and then they torture them to death. You can do all the reading you want on your own, but this is happening now in modern times, and they have pretty decent security there. For the most part, they have real electric fences, not the kind for those of you who don't live in the country. There's little electric fences for horses and goats and things like that, and they're not horrible. You can touch them just because like it doesn't really feel good. They have them for cattle, which will zap you pretty good. No, these are like kill you electric fences, and still these people get through. And actually, I'm surprised at a technique they're not using. I said it to my wife, I'm not going to put it out on the internet. The bad guys to defeat those electric fences. But be that as it may, that's happening now. They're breaking in. They're killing people badly because they're alone. Because you got to go to sleep sometime. And all the security systems in the world aren't going to do you any good if you don't have a response option once the security system trips. So what's that mean? It means you need people, right? You need people. Even if you don't live on a farmstead, worse, you live in suburbia, there's going to be people roaming around doing mischief, conducting mischief. You're going to have a plan for that. 24/7, 365. And what you're gonna need, here I come, I'm beating my drum again, is people. Somebody's gonna have to be awake and alert and ready to respond until they can wake up everybody else and get them involved in the plan. So have you thought about that? Too many of us, because I think we're individuals and we're we do things on our own, and me and mine. We don't take into account the need for other people in those situations. If you want to try and go it alone, you and Pa or you and Ma, that's not a good plan. Look at South Africa today. It's not a good plan. It doesn't work. Numbers of bad guys is a thing. Quantity has a quality all its own. So, I have said before, have you thought about bringing people on board? Your brother. I get the response when I say this on YouTube. I hate my brother. He's a loser. He's on meth. Okay, well then just take the concept and apply it to something else. Your best friend from high school who's a former recon Marine. I don't know. Good people show up at your place. Number one, you should have already planned for that. Number two, what if they just do? What if you have the option? What if you see Special Forces medic and his wife, who's a welder and electrician, with their 2 little kids walking down the road because misfortune has beset them, and they're looking for a place. Sounds like a pretty good contribution to my cause to me. Come on in. Have you thought about how you're going to use these people? I've told you before, long ago, you should already have a plan who's coming to your place and what tasks need to be done immediately. First person that shows up, unload your car over there, and then you go stand over there and keep an eye down this road. Okay, next person comes in. All right, unload your car over. No, we'll have those people unload your car. I need you to take your rifle and go over there and set up security until we come relieve you. Security, security, security. You got to establish security before you can do anything else. But this isn't the kind of thing you should try and think of at the moment, especially those of you who aren't super tactical anyway. Real tactics, not paintball tactics, not Call of Duty or Tour of Duty or whatever the heck it was called tactics, real military tactics, like you've done it. If you don't have that down, you should most definitely start working on this stuff now and thinking about it and writing it down and drawing your diagrams and all those things. But all of that was just prelude to this. There is a saying, and there's a lot of truth to it. It's not totally true. There's a lot of truth to it, that amateurs argue tactics and professionals argue logistics. Or amateurs consider tactics, experts consider logistics. Logistics. You need a group of people. Whether you have a group yet or not, immaterial. You're going to need a group of people. I submit that when times get really bad, if you don't have a group of people, you'll be dead. So you're either going to have a group of people or not. I really think that's going to have to happen. Meaning you're either going to have to accept people or you're going to have to join people. Counting on joining people on your part is, man, that should be your E3 on pace. Well, my plan is I'll just find a good group like Pastor Joe's and join it. Ooh, that's a bad plan on your part. Your best plan is to have a group now. Second best probably is to figure out now who you're going to invite, right? You got to start working that stuff out. Depending on the kindness of others in those times, not good. But once you start thinking about having a group of people, you need to start considering logistics. And that's what I want you to think about. We're revisiting it again. So you're on your little slice of heaven, you have your little place, and you've decided that, man, I could really use 6 other families. I know for most of y'all that's like so far out there but only because you want it to be so far out there. I started with nobody, and now we have the Shofarians. I've done it before on a smaller scale. You can do it. You just need to decide that's what you want to do. You need to make a plan and start working your plan. But let's say 4 families total. Yours and 3 others. Now, come on, that's doable. You live in a cul-de-sac or on a street where you could just get those neighbors and make something happen. Where are people going to sleep? Where are people going to poop? What are people going to drink and what are they going to eat? How are they going to cook their food? How are they going to clean up what they've cooked? How are they going to keep their latrine area policed up, clean, disease-free? How are you going to power the things that you need to power, that you think you need to power? How are you going to resupply Band-Aids, Neosporin, tape, all these things? I think a lot of people, we watch war movies. Oh, I do. I watch every war movie. But they're popular, right? And so people watch these shows and these movies, and it always focuses on the guys at the pointy end of the spear. That's the exciting part, right? The infantrymen, the special operators, the guys with the guns and the grenades dripping off of them. The definition of U.S. definition of special operations forces, that they're really cool guys, is specially trained and equipped individuals. That's like the first part of it, especially trained and equipped. And people just go, yeah, they got all that cool stuff. They got the scar and all of that stuff came from somewhere. There's a huge logistics pipeline behind directly the soft guys. There's a huge logistics pipeline behind the tankers and the infantrymen. That is so important that nobody ever does a movie on that. Right? Those guys, without them, the whole thing grinds to a halt. Logistics are huge, and you need to get your logistics figured out now. I'm not just talking about your personal logistics, but it's a theme that's been going on, right? I mean, we've been hitting, and TJ hit it too. Having food storage is good. I've been hitting food storage for 2 years. Okay, now what? See, that's just like a depot. Boom, all right, I got food storage. How are you resupplying? How is more coming in? Because this thing doesn't end in a year. Well, my last bucket of food, we just finished it. I guess the crisis is over. If you don't have a plan, your crisis is just starting, right? So logistics, how are you going to keep things that need to flow flowing? And then with logistics, you need pace, right? Primary, alternate, contingency, emergency. What I would like you to start spending some time, get a piece of paper out, start drawing families that you think you might be able to join with. Who's in there? Susie and Bob, Bobby and Sally, and Susie's pregnant, so we got another one coming. Okay, what did TJ say? 1.3 million calories, but he just rounds it off, million calories per person. Oh, that's 5 million calories right there, just for them. All right, 5 million calories, awesome, for a year. That's all those calories coming out in the toilet somewhere also. This family of 4, this family of 3, this couple of 2, me and Mom and our son George. We got to wash clothes. You can't wear those stinky socks for a year. Your feet will fall off. And then where will you be? We have to replace shoes. We have to... just everything. Life, man. Think longer term. Think long term. A couple years long. Don't count on somebody coming to solve your little crisis after your survival supplies run out, because that's as far as you can think. You need to think long term. What are you going to do? And the people with the plans are going to do better than the people without the plans. And your plan, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. Now, your plan's not going to go perfectly well, but a good plan provides you the ability, the basis to frag off of that fragmentary orders, to change your plan in midstream, but you have something to change from. You're not just going, oh, what do we do? Camus the Scream. You need to start working your logistics. And again, logistics is not just a warehouse full of stuff. See, logistics starts all the way back on the other side of the world and keeps flowing, and then has to come to nodes and then get distributed and distributed and distributed. And it requires reports going back so that they know what to send. You know, please don't send any more boots. Don't send any size 8 boots. We're done. We need rice. We need Band-Aids. This is where it's not a replacement for, but it's where having various skill sets kicks in. You know, you just used your last ace wrap and it's shot. It's not going to work anymore. You know, it's shredded, whatever. Okay, what do we do for the next person that gets a sprained ankle? Do you know how to tie an ankle with a cravat, triangular bandage? It's a technique. It's learnable. It's doable. Do you know herbal medicine? And when I say herbal medicine, can you go out there and select the correct plant and prepare it in the correct way and dose it in the correct way? Little things like that can help. They should not be your immediate go-to. Well, I'm just going to study herbal medicine. I don't have to do anything else. Oh, yeah, you've got to do a lot. You got to do a lot. to really make it through what's coming, I think you have to make this a lifestyle. To the extent that you can do that, I think you will do better. But start thinking about logistics. And that's logistics in one place. What about if your group has to move? That's logistics. How are we getting from here to, we're going to southern Indiana, to Aunt Mabel's house, the whole group. We're going to her farm. All right, everybody get in your car, let's go. Oh, no. We got to do a lot more thinking than that before we go. All right, I encourage you all to think on these things. I'm interested in your comments. I got work to do. Hey, my wife is back from 10 days in Florida, and I had my first real meal in 10 days. I know that's my fault. I can cook. I used to be a cook. I was a professional cook. I was paid to do so. Laziness, probably. But I'm stoked. All right, start working on your logistics. Immediate term, short term, long term, forever term. I'll see you out there.